Hi, I'm Winston.
And I'm Christina.
And we are the Real Estate Templates. So thank you for tuning in. Today, we've had a lot of requests from people asking us if we could dissect a deal for them. Show them how they can look through something and then decide whether to make a decision on whether to look at a deal or not look at a deal. What's a real quick way to do it? Christina and I will approach everything from an algorithm standpoint. And I will get a little bit more into the algorithms, but we used to use a different number than we use now because of interest rates. So today, with interest rates where they are today, we use the algorithm of 1%. So people used to do 1% as a good investment tool. If you had a piece of property worth $300,000, if you could get $3,000 a month worth of rent, you could make about $500 a month clear profit off of it. And that was a good round number to look at when you was going to buy a piece of property. Now, at that particular point in time, we would use the algorithm of 0.006 multiplied time the purchase price. And when we did that, that would tell us that if we was able to get 0.006 of the purchase price, then we would be able to break even at this number if everything was proper with the house. So we're going to dissect the deal down today. We're going to run an algorithm on it. We're going to talk about whether we can make money or not make money with certain algorithms. So this is how we're going to approach the situation. We're going to go to Zillow, and arbitrarily we're going to pull up a house. And we have already run some numbers on this house, so because we got the numbers run, we don't have to do it and take up a lot more video time. So we're going to punch this house right here. This is in Millersville, Tennessee. It's 1080 Slater's Creek.
Cute little house.
So we're familiar with this area because we own several houses on this street and in this area. So what I would look at...
Oh, I got to point something out. That's white brick, everybody. That is white brick.
My wife is a fanatic for white brick. It just gets dirty for me. My wife is a realtor. I am not. So I will let her go ahead and just take us through each individual house, each individual part. Let's dissect it down. How's the house look? So
I think the house looks great.
So from the outside?
From the outside, it looks great from the pictures. Yeah. So
okay.
You want to go through all the pictures?
No. All right. So
I don't know. Me being a realtor has anything to do with it. I don't like to tell people that.
You being a realtor, you get to walk through it a little bit better.
But I don't know about that.
Either way. So what I'm looking at and what Christina's looking at also is the fact that it has a brand new roof on it from the looks of it. Somebody's came in and they painted a brick. They put new gutters on the house. They put new shutters on the house, but the new shutters on the house are not... We would prefer to go with something like a wood shutter, something that we make in-house, something that's really nice and gives a good presentation. They got a vinyl shutter that is $20 from Lowe's. I'm not complaining about that. From the aesthetics of the house, it looks like a nice house. If we're looking over here, I can see the air conditioner. I don't know if it's new. I would have to look at the house. So just looking at the pictures, I got to assume that if they did a good rehab on that right there, then that is going to be probably a new air conditioner on that. So let's go to the next picture. So in the next picture, it looks
all new.
It all looks new. I don't like the fact that they painted the vents. I would probably, if I bought the house, I would come back in and I would put new vents in there. Okay, that's a little bit of expense. I'm not going to worry about that a whole lot. I don't see any major cracks in the foundation, nothing running down the house or anything like that. The landscaping is
okay.
It's okay. I'm not going to write home and tell my mama about it.
It is winter time though. This is like we're getting out of winter time. We had a hard winter, so a lot of plants have died.
That is true. That is true. See this tree right here in the backyard? I would probably, after I did my due diligence from what we're talking about right now, when I made my walkthrough and looked at the property, I would definitely check out that tree. Because if that tree is going to fall on this house because it's already rotted, you can tell that it's rotted, is it going to fall on a house? And if it is, okay, I got to put that into my cost because I got to pay somebody a couple of $1,000s to come in and remove that tree for me. Anything else you see?
Nope.
Okay. Same thing. Now I am noticing that all of the windows are new, so they did put new windows in the house. That's a good thought because when they came in, they did take the wherewithal, or have the wherewithal to put new windows in the house and not just try and cover up what was there.
Oh, I have a question for you.
What's that?
and I don't know that you know this answer or not, but I'm going to ask anyways. One of the last houses that we built, they were asking about the steps and whether we should have railings or not. We chose not to put railings up because it was in code, but do you know what that?
So the code is in our area in Tennessee, we got to have, if it's over about 30 inches, I think the code's maybe 34 inches above the ground, something like that. But if it's 30 inches or under, we won't put handrails on it. But being over 30 inches, just from a safety thing, and once you get to a certain point, the code's going to tell you have to put handrails up. So this does not have handrails because could be one of two things. Maybe it wasn't required when the house was built, then they don't come make you do it now. But that's not very high anyway, so it wouldn't be a requirement today either. So that's why it doesn't have that. But my wife likes the white brick. I see a lot of shady part on this where they probably should have put a second coat of paint on that. They should have done a little bit better job, and you can see the dirt up in here from landscaping and stuff. I don't really, that's my problem with white. She's doing a house right now that she's building, and it has white brick on it.
It's not white like this. This is painted.
But she likes the white brick a lot. All right, let's go to the next page. Ooh, she said ooh, so that's got a ooh on it. It looks like they did a nice job on some tile, looking from the pictures. It looks like it's got a new return air grill there. Looks like the receptacle covers and all, and the receptacles
looks like Repo's gray.
Look like they might be new. It looks like Repo's gray, which she loves. They did not, it doesn't look like they added any extra lighting, any auxiliary lighting or anything like that. They took the existing light that was there, they put one fixture right there. It looks good. That particular fixture, I would say in the end, is going to be horrible for light in the night. It's probably not going to light up real good. Not a bad thing. People can always do some more light. I think from an aesthetic standpoint, that looks really nice. I would say with the trimness there, they probably used the existing trim. I don't know if that looks like a new trim. It might be a new trim, but it doesn't appear to be a new. It looks like it might have the existing doorway there.
They staged it.
They did. They paid an additional $1,000 for somebody to stage it, probably.
At least.
So you pay when you're going to sell a house like this, you want to have somebody come in and put some furniture in there, put something really nice, maybe modern, like you got right here. Something that people look at the pictures as they're looking on the MLS and they go, "Wow, that's a nice looking house."
Sometimes they're virtually staged. I think this might be virtually staged.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't quite tell.
I think it is.
So that may be an AI staging where they just virtually came in and staged it, but it never actually got staged. But either way, it looks good like that. I don't think it looks bad.
Which costs a lot less money than staging.
This looks more like a plank flooring. I don't think that's original. I think that's a plank flooring. So maybe they got a plank flooring that went in over top of whatever existing flooring was. I don't believe that's a true hardwood. Not that it might be. Nope, it very well might be. That could be that's a good stain and finish floor. That's probably a 3/4 inch floor. I do not like the floor vents. See how the floor vents aren't properly placed in the floor? And I noticed that earlier when I looked at the pictures that the floor vents, they probably did not put new ones in. They probably used the existing ones. Maybe they put new ones in. It just doesn't sit well. You can fix that. That's not a big deal. I just think that's something they should have done. I do not like the popcorn ceilings. We're very much fans of a slick ceiling, a smooth ceiling. They're easy to work with. But regardless, we think it looks nice. I would not hesitate buying this house right now. We haven't looked at price, so we're not talking price yet. We're just looking at the house. Right now, it looks good.
Aesthetically.
Aesthetically, I like the way it looks. Same thing with that vent there. I don't like that vent. We do like those kind of front doors. We put them in a couple of houses we've built. I don't know about that light switch right here. When you open the door, it's going to cover up the light switch, but there looks like there's another one right there. So I don't know what that feeds or don't feed. Kitchen. Looks like new cabinetry. Looks like they did new appliances. I like the backsplash. I think that looks pretty cool. Looks like a good sized kitchen. Nice show.
I wonder how bright that really is with just the light.
Yeah. So they probably got some natural light coming in. That was a big window right there also. So some good natural light coming into the kitchen. The kitchen shows good. The house shows really well from this standpoint. But one thing that's important. Never put emotions in what you're looking at. We're putting emotions in as we're looking at it and talking to you because I'm excited about the way the house looks.
That's virtually staged.
You know what
for
we
sure.
ought to do is we ought to go over there and do a virtual tour of this house after we finish this.
See if it looks like it does in the
And
pictures.
put it on video.
Yeah.
So y'all may watch it the next video because we're gonna probably go ahead and just schedule a tour of it. We might can do that today and then go over there after we do this. Then we're gonna go do a walkthrough. We're gonna do that. We're
Yeah,
gonna do
that's a
that
good
today.
idea.
So we're gonna put in a phone call in a minute, get us a staging thing. We're gonna go look at this. Nick's got time. We're gonna do some filming. This looks great. A lot of light on that sliding glass door. It's a new door, so they didn't use the existing door. They put a new door in. Everything looks good. That is the original floor, and you can see a little bit of gapping right here in the floor, which isn't a big deal, but you can see a little bit. Attic access right there. I guess you got to put it somewhere. This is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, so it's an old house. I think I saw it was built in the 60s. We'll look at that in a little bit. So it's an older house, and you can only do what you can do with it. But I think
they did a pretty good job.
It looks great from the pictures. Again, natural light on that. Bedrooms, nice ceiling fan, that shows well. The new windows show great. We both like brushed nickel accessories on the doors for door handles and things like that. We're very much that kind of color. Again, the vents, I don't understand why the vents don't fit flush. When we go there, we're going to video them vents and we're going to see if they're new or old.
They are or not.
I think they're not new. We'll see. And if they're not new, that's one thing they should have done because they're only about $15-20 a piece to put some nice vents in.
Must be another
Next bedroom looks good. Another vent right here. You look at that. Doesn't look good. What is the address on this house? Remember? I got it right.
1080.
1080 is 1080 Slaters Creek Road in Millersville, Tennessee. So if you wanted to actually pull up the listing and look through the pictures, you can do that too.
Oh, look at funny aesthetics. Oops.
The
New
heck
to the board. New to the board.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Okay, so new toilet. That's not an old toilet.
Yeah.
Looks like brushed nickel and everything, right? No chrome. We do not like if you put brushed nickel cabinet handles in it and put a chrome faucet in. That just kind of aesthetically kills it for us.
That's what the
And
picture
if we bought a
looks
house that was that way, we would go in and replace whatever.
Yeah.
If they had brushed nickel here and chrome there, we'd replace one or the other. But we would not leave it two different things. Looks good. Looks good. They did a surround sound. They did a surround on that tub out of ceramic tile. I like that. It looks like a good looking job from here so far. I do not like this. I do not. This is 3/4 inch plywood from the looks of it right here. And I would have done something that was a little, I would have used some MDF wood or something like that. I would have done something that gave us a little bit of better aesthetics, especially with the purchase price that they're asking on this house. 300,000. You got a little pitch pocket right here to put your soaps in and stuff. That almost looks like chrome. I don't know.
It does. It'll be interesting to see what it is when we get there. But
We'll look at that. You know, personally, we don't like the mismatch of that, but that's not our house.
It's really interesting though. There are some people that are going to mismatch like not chrome, but the brushed nickel with the champagne and the bronze. Like they're mixing up the colors. And we actually did that in one of the houses that we sold. You didn't like it, but we did.
No, I don't like it at all. I don't like that at all. I'm aesthetically, it all has to be the same. Everything has to be symmetrical. I have a quirk with me about that. I do not like that shower head. That shower head is not going to give us the pressure we need. We're familiar with that road. The pressure is okay on that road. It is awesome on that road. But this is more of a shower head that would go into the ceiling, more so than what would go right there. So it's not going to give you any options. You're going to get what you get out of it, and that's it. So not a big deal. It's just something that I'm looking at and I'm saying, well, if I was going to rent it, if I was buying this house to set up for a rental and we're going to run numbers on it as a rental, I would take that shower head off and I would put another shower head on it.
And take all the fans down.
Yeah, no. I don't like fans on my rentals, so we would.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't take them down because they're already up and they look nice.
We could take them out and put them in a house that we're going to sell. I wouldn't want them in a rental. Not at all.
Okay.
If you're going to
I can tell you what I would do, she would tell you what she would do, and I would tell you she who controls the nookie controls the world.
Oh boy. Yes. So
anyway, moving on. Sorry.
What is that?
That looks like kind of a greenhouse.
That's a greenhouse?
That might be pretty cool. It looks like a greenhouse. We're not real sure with it. We haven't read any of the stuff on this yet, so we really don't know exactly what that is, but I think it's a greenhouse.
I don't know.
It's got some grass around it. Okay, we'll have to look at that when we get there. Looks like a nice backyard. We know this area, and we know that nothing probably will be ever built behind this house, so it'll probably wouldn't close it in. Now, we have looked at the land behind that house, and if we ever buy it, it will have houses behind it. But we don't know that we will. But it is a possibility. That is a greenhouse.
That is a greenhouse.
Okay, so from now, it is a greenhouse. So here's some stuff. I don't like this because this tells me the water that comes off of here is going to run right behind, right back underneath the house. And we're going to talk about that. So you don't know this by looking at the picture. So we're only going to talk about what we're seeing in the pictures right now, but we're going to break that down more in a little while. It looks like all of the water right here from this hill is coming down to here, and that water is going to run against this house. If it is running against the house, then I got a concern that the water goes under the house, and if it goes under the house, then it rots out the floor joists. And I can tell you, I own a house.
Owned a house.
3 houses. We owned a house. We sold it. 3 houses down from there that every floor joist in the house was rotted out so bad that the house was imploding within itself if we didn't pull everything out and redo it. So that would be a concern of this house.
What did Jose? Was it us or did Jose fix that?
No, Jose fixed that. So we had
How did they keep the water?
We had a renter. We had a renter in that house, and the renter that was in the house was. He called me up about the floor, and we went over and looked at it, and I got under the house, and it was just falling apart. So I looked at it, and the house is in a flood zone, so the house itself has never flooded since I owned it, but it has water all the way up to the doorsteps. And when it gets water up to the doorstep, that tells me it gets water under the house, and that rots the wood. So when I saw that, I told Jose, I said, I am going to tear this house down. You got to find another place for you and your family to live. Well, his whole family was distraught over that. They did not want me to tear the house down. So what I told them is, I will sell you the house for what the land value is. So I took the total house value off of the thing, and I gave it to him for $40,000.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
So we gave him the house for $40,000, and we toted the note on it, and we're still toting the note on it. So when we toted the note on it, he moved into it for $500 a month. He got it, and he does construction for a living. So he ripped everything out and he fixed it all right. It's an incredible looking house now.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I'm still I think that he did an awesome job. I'm still very concerned about the house because it is going to get water underneath it. It is eventually going to get water in it.
So he didn't do anything.
He did not raise it. He didn't raise it. So he still has that potential that he put all that money into a house that is going to probably flood again. That house had about 3 feet of water in it when the 08, 010, whatever that flood was that came through. It had a lot of water in it. So that was his call, not our call. My call would be tear the house down, build a new house. But anyway, so that would be something that definitely when I went back to work on the house or look at the house and do an inspection on it, I would have looked underneath there. When we go over there today, we will do the same thing. Backyard, I mean, the house shows well. It doesn't show bad. I think that it would be a great rental. I like it. I would buy it as a rental. Where are you at?
After we run the numbers, maybe.
Okay, but right now
just aesthetically looking at it.
We have somebody in California watching this video that's looking at the house. Do they want to buy the house right now?
After they run the numbers, yes.
I would at least go further.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go further into it. So let's get back. All the way back. Well, take us to the page. Whatever. Keep going back.
What do you take?
Keep going back over there. Keep on. Too far.
I don't know how to work this board.
Me neither. Well, how do we get to the thing?
You're supposed to know how to work this board. Look at the X. Maybe the X.
Yes.
Oh,
Excellent. So now let's just talk about it. So they're asking $299,900 for the house. That's expensive for, how big is the house?
1,200 square feet.
1,200 square foot house. So we got a 1,200 square foot house This is just Zillow, okay? So Zillow is telling us that the estimated payment for this house is $1,742. They're telling us that it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. What you're seeing?
New flooring, new lighting, new tile, new HVAC, new.
So that answers our question on the HVAC. It is a new HVAC.
Hey, even a washer and dryer. That doesn't happen very often. And they're putting $2,000.
So they're going to give you $2,000
down
before your closing cost. The reason they're doing that is because they're having a problem selling the house. That's the only reason.
How long has it been on the market?
It says 21 days. Let's go. We'll go to the bottom and we'll look at it a little bit more in depth. Go slow so we can look at something. What will that house rent for? What does Zillow say that house will rent for? All right. So Zillow is estimating that house is worth $296,000. So on that $296,000 zestimate, which doesn't mean anything. It's just something. I trust a lot of their numbers, but this is what it is.
It's been on the market longer than 21
that's
days.
what I was thinking. That's the only reason why. So if they say it's probably worth that, it's probably worth that. But is it worth that to an investor, or is it worth that to somebody who wants to move in and live in it? I would say they don't go towards the investor page. They go more towards what it would be if you was going to move into it and live in it. It doesn't tell you you're going to be able to make money off of it. So
it's been for sale for a long time.
It's been for sale for a long time.
Like a long time. So it sold in 2020.
So they bought it in 2021. No, they bought it in 2022 for $209,000. So somebody bought that house in 2020. Nope. Yeah, tax history.
No.
Okay. So it sold in 2024 or 2022.
They must, and then they listed it. Not even a month.
So
later.
they did it. They couldn't have done. Well, they listed it for $249,000. They may have went in and did some more work, raised the price. Then
they removed
in October. They removed it in September. Came in and did a remodel that probably took them a little bit over a month because it's a month that it's off listing. And then they raised it to $299,000. So it did a rehab. They did a 1 month rehab basically off of that from what I see, which tells me if you did a 1 month rehab, you did not do any foundation work. You did not get into a lot of the in-depth stuff that might need to be done.
It went under contract last December.
So it went under contract in December, and then they backed out of the contract or lost the contract for some reason.
Removed.
So what does Zillow say we can get for rent on this?
I don't.
Let's go further down.
That's a monthly cost.
So they're estimating $1,742 monthly cost.
That's not the
That's what I'm saying, monthly cost. We're going to see if that's a true number when we run our numbers, whether $1,700 is a good number. Right there. $1,814. So I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to say that as a rental company, we own a rental company. So as a guy that would buy that house, rent it out, I would say I could get $1,800 for it. If it had 2 bedrooms, you could get $2,000 for it. Yeah. Or not 2 bedrooms, but 2 bathrooms. It does not have 2 bathrooms. So we're going to agree with that number. So we're going to use that $1,800 a month for rent. And I do not agree with the cost number that they had up there of $1,700 a month, right? So according to Zillow, if it costs you this house, they're saying the note's $1,500. Well, hold on, baby. They're saying at $299, $59,000 down, 30-year fixed at 6.4. I don't know if you're going to get a 6.4% right now. I think you'd be lucky if you can get 7%. We're going to run our numbers at 7% when we run our numbers on this house, not at 6.4. And then we're going to run all that and see what we come up with. So I don't think Zillow's way off on anything. I think they may have a little bit off on something. Do you have anything that you think they're off on more?
They don't have insurance. No. Well, I mean, insurance is going to come.
Change that to So Zillow is estimating right here.
I think that's going to be higher because it's in a flood zone.
So they're estimating your property tax, your insurance at $1,200, which is about what I estimated when I did it. But one thing they're missing here, they're using a property tax at $135 a month.
That's based on the tax rate.
Based on the tax rate. They're not taking city and county in there. We got houses that are valued at less than that right there with city and county. We're paying $2,400 a month on in the same area. They're missing something. Zillow's missing something in that number that is not going to be completely correct. Mortgage rate, we're going to do that at, we can change that to 7%.
You're going to have to back it up.
Did that change our note or no?
We got to go down. Yeah.
Okay, so that changed our note to $1,836, which is, I had 1,800. No, we'll get into that.
1814. You had 1814.
I had right there the same amount of money. So we're on the same page with that right there at 7% that I was at. All right, so let's go into running some numbers and say, okay, if I'm going to use my 1% algorithm number and say I got to have 1% to break even, that's telling me, or maybe break even and make $100 or $200 a month positive cash flow. I got to have that to do it at $300,000. They're saying we can make money because they're saying the expenses are only $1,700 and the note is going to be $1,800. So you'd be, if you rented it, what Zillow is saying, we would be able to make $100 a month. So I don't trust that number. We're going to run some real numbers so you can look at them. Let's do that right there. So we're going to come here. I've had her already write out some words up there. That way we don't have to spend time doing that. So it's 1080 Slaters Creek Road. We're going to use a purchase price. Use $300,000 because it's just easy to do. So if we're going to do,
Payment is 60.
we're going to put 20% down on our rental. That's going to be $60,000. We're going to use a loan amount that we're going to do at $240,000. And I had on my mortgage calculator, it came to $1,804. Hold on a second, don't write that down. It came to $1,814 a month times 12 is $21,768. So we're going to put $21,768 and go ahead and write yearly next to that instead of monthly.
I had a yearly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the monthly note is $1,814, and then the yearly note will be $21,768. So this is telling us if we rented it out, $21,000 a year of our rent is going to go to our mortgage. Okay, nothing else, just the mortgage. All right, let's go to the next page.
Oh, I think I just dragged
Just
it, right?
move it away.
And we're using yearly numbers, not monthly numbers.
So everything we're going to do, because we want to know how much money this house makes in a year, we're going to do it. All of our numbers are going to be yearly numbers. And then you can always divide these numbers by 12, and that'll give you your monthly thing. So our yearly note, $21,768. So we're taking the rents at the full thing that Zillow said, $1,814. I think that's a good number. That gives us $21,700. Nope. Sorry. So the yearly rents, yeah, $21,768. Did I give you the wrong number on the other?
You may have. Yeah, look at the note here. That's your yearly.
Okay, so I apologize. The note was $19,160. I looked at the wrong number.
So we have
$19,160.
160.
Okay, sorry about that. Yearly note needs to be changed there too, baby.
To $19,171.
$171.
Okay.
Okay, so our yearly rents are going to be $21,768.
One more time. 21,000 what?
$768.
Okay.
Why don't you explain to them what the 7% vacancy means?
The 7% vacancy you want to take into account. So if you
Look
have
at
a
that
turn,
camera.
if you have a turn, you're accounting for that. So for what is it, every
14
months. So we always factor that. Typically, our renters don't move out. We actually are pretty lucky.
So if you're going to figure your numbers, to make
You
money.
want to consider that.
And if you're going to make money, you got to figure every so often that house is going to be vacant.
Mm-hmm.
And when that house is vacant, we want that money to be in a checking account somewhere so that we can cover our note, so that we can cover our expenses while that's going on. So we like to use the number of 7%. That gives us a vacancy every 14 months. If it doesn't become vacant every single year, maybe it comes vacant once every 2 years, we're in good shape. We got more money in the account to cover that than what we need. If it goes 3 years, we got even more. But we want to put that money in account so that we know it's covered. So we use a 7% vacancy rate. We do the 7% times the $21,768. That's going to give us $1,523. So we're going to factor in every year $1,523 in rents that we're not going to collect because of a down month, or let's say it went 2 months. Let's say it went vacant after 24 months, but it was vacant for two months or a month and a half. That's going to give us this right here times 1.5 that we would have that we can use. So it's a good number to have. If you don't have a vacancy, that is awesome. You just make that much more money. But we're going to figure in that right there. So our net rents at that point right there will be what?
I don't have my calculator. Do you want me to
$20,245.
$20,245?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start from there, and we're going to say our rents that we're bringing in every single year is going to be $12,000, or at least starting out $20,245. So let's move this over a little bit and let her.
How did that get smaller?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You can write right there. I'll get out of the way.
Oop. I'm making all sorts of messes here. Hold on.
All right, so now we're going to figure out our expenses. No, pull that to you so we can both be in the camera. So now we're going to figure out our expenses. So one thing I want to know is, do we have any capital improvements? Now, right now, not looking at the house, we see that everything looks like it's just been freshly rehabbed, so we don't have anything. I don't need to factor in 4 years or 5 years. I got to put a roof on it, or I got to put a water heater on it, and I got to put an air conditioner. We don't have to factor flooring or anything that's expensive. May have a little small maintenance thing, but that's it. That's where we're going off of our numbers right now as we run the numbers. So we're going to put nothing on capital improvements. But it's always something you want to consider when you're doing it, because you don't want to do anything and not put a number in there that can cost you money. Don't ever try and make that deal make sense to you because you love the deal. The deal makes sense or the deal does not make sense. There is nothing in between. So the next thing we're going to figure is maintenance costs.
500?
Yeah, let's use 500. So we always put a minimum of $500 a year on maintenance costs. So we got a house that's freshly rehabbed. We build brand new houses, so we got a brand new house. I'm still going to put $500 a year in maintenance costs because I'm going to send somebody over there at some point in time to unstop a toilet. I'm going to send somebody over there to show them how to use an electronic thermostat because they don't understand that. I'm going to have to deal with them not knowing how to switch it to emergency heat. We may have a leak underneath a sink. We need to go send somebody to tighten up something. We're going to put $500 a year just because I need to send somebody over there to do something. We maybe even change an air conditioning filter. I don't know. We got to send them over there because something ain't working. So we're going to put that in there. So next we're going to have legal and accounting. What's that for?
Evictions, CPA.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
So if we got to evict somebody, that's going to cost us a few $100s. So that number's in there.
Like $375.
And then it's going to cost us. Our accountant is going to probably do some depreciation on that. They're going to do something on that house on a yearly basis. It's going to cost us $100 or $200 extra for them to do what they do on our taxes and things. So we put these fees in there because we're going to spend that. And you can say, well, that's just a petty fee. It doesn't matter whether it's petty. It belongs to this house. This house should pay for it. I should not pay for anything out of my pocket from my working capital of what I bring in on my W-2 job or something else. This needs to go in there.
So you're putting 4.
So we're going to put 400 on there.
4.
So property taxes, this showed the property taxes a little bit less than what I figured. I figured the property taxes to run is probably closer to $2,600 a year on a $300,000 purchase.
Okay.
Then property management fee. So a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to put a property management fee in there because I'm not going to manage the property, or I'm going to manage the property myself. I'm not going to hire somebody. It doesn't matter whether Christina manages that property or I pay somebody else to manage that property. Somebody's managing that property, and those people ought to be paid for their time. So if you say I'm going to manage it myself, okay, that still takes time from you. It still takes, you may say, well, I don't need to be paid for that. Then okay, you can say that, but everybody should be paid for what they do. Is your time not worth anything whatsoever? And your time is worth something. If I die and Christina has to take everything into consideration and deal with all of our rental properties,
I wouldn't pay a property manager.
She wouldn't pay a property manager because we do it ourselves. But we own a property management company.
Yes.
Does it run for free?
No.
Okay.
So you still need to.
Our property management company cost us 4 people's salaries a year that we pay for this, plus her salary, plus my salary. Everything's going into that, and that's what we do. We're managing the properties. So we can say we self-manage, but still everybody gets paid. So it's you can't just say I'm not going to use that number. Use that number. You die, your wife has to take care of the property, your husband has to take care of the property, whomever has to take care of it. If they don't do it on a normal basis, they're going to hire somebody else, or they're going to start losing money. Get a property. Figure if you don't use it, that's money in your pocket. But we're going to put that money in the cost of the job. Because we want to know what it's going to be. So I have on property management, we're going to use 10% property management, which is $1,900. So property management fee, $1,900 a year.
And you can negotiate property management fees. So that's on the high end.
And that's $100 and something dollars a month. It's not a lot of money. It's $100 and something dollars a month. Now, we're going to figure insurance at $1,300. That's not far off. That's about right where they had their insurance. Okay, I'm a $80 higher or something like that. But what they didn't put in there, they didn't put flood insurance. When I go to a bank and I want to put insurance on this house is in a flood zone. So if it's in a flood zone, the insurance company is going to require you to put flood insurance on it.
The bank?
The bank is going to require you to put flood insurance on it. So when you go get flood insurance, it's probably going to cost you somewhere around $1,200 for flood insurance on a $300,000 house. We had 4 houses that we bought, and we pulled a note we paid cash for the houses, but then we pulled a note of $180,000. So we had $180,000 leveraged on 4 houses, and I didn't know that they were going to make me put flood insurance on it. But when they did, that flood insurance was $5,000 a year.
Expensive, yeah.
And then
I think it was
we complained about it, but we paid it because we already had something to do with that money we was pulling out of there. But the next year they went up to our flood insurance to $7,000 on those 4 houses. $7,000 a year. Flood insurance ain't no joke. Take it serious and realize what you're getting into when you get it. If you're buying something in a flood zone, you're going to have, if you pay cash for it, you don't have to pay flood insurance because you're the one taking the risk. But if a bank is going to take the risk on that property, they're going to require you to put flood insurance. This is not disclosed. It wasn't disclosed in that article at all that it was in a flood zone. But we know it's in a flood zone because we operate in this area. So that's where you got to do all of your due diligence and verify everything you do. Do not trust that realtor is giving you all of the information you got to have. So all of those numbers together is going to equal $7,900. So we are putting $7,900 worth of expenses on this house to be able to rent it. That is not what Zillow's doing. Zillow's saying, what's it going to cost you if you live in it? It's going to cost you your taxes. It's going to cost you your insurance. They're not going to give you maintenance fees. They're not going to give you capital improvements. They're not going to give you legal and accounting. They're not going to give you property management. And apparently, according to Zillow, they're not giving you flood insurance either. So we're going to stick with that right there. So our total cash flow is, we in the wrong area right here. Okay, so let's leave it right there. So we got our total expenses at $7,900. Let's add our note to that.
Okay.
So our note was $19,160. Just add it right there underneath that right there because we didn't have it over here. Oh, add it on the side right there. $19,160 for the note. So with the $7,900 and the $19,160, then yearly we're paying $27,000. 2760. So this house is going to cost us $27,060 a year, and it's going to bring in rents $20,245. So subtract the $27,000 from, just put that in brackets or something to show it as a negative. So that's a negative. And then the $20,245. That tells me we're going to have a negative $6,815.
Hold on.
Cash flow.
What was it again?
Negative $6,815. All right, so that's not
pretty.
It's not pretty. It's not sexy. It's not something I'd want. At face value, it's not something that I'd want. There are deals that I would every bit take that negative number, but this isn't at this particular point in time. This is not one of them. So we looking at the cash flow. That is just another piece of the pie. There's more to this deal than that. So let's look at the rest of the deal.
You want me to put the negative cash flow up there? 68.15.
So we're going to do a number that's called a throw off. So a throw off is, I want to know, what does this property throw off as a whole? What am I going to make if I put into consideration every single thing that I can make off of this property? So that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to start off with our cash flow at $6,815 negative. Now, we're going to use, on appreciation, we're going to use a number of 5%. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, we are appreciating at way more than 5%. Well, I think we're appreciating at more than 10% right now. I don't see, as long as our government does not, as long as they continue to print money, that appreciation is going to continue to rise. It's going to keep going up in value. And I'm going to be conservative, because if I look across the country, across our area, and I look at a 50-year plan, what have we done in 50 years? In 50 years, our average has been around a little bit over 5% over a 50-year period of time. So I'm going to use that number. If I look at the last 10 years, our average over the last 10 years has been more than 10% appreciation year over year over year. I could use that number, and I would be very comfortable using that number, but as I'm talking to you as maybe an entry-level investor, don't use a number that you can't support. Use this 5%. Use something that's got a 50-year track record. People will tell you, you can't use appreciation. Do not count on appreciation. Well, I'm sorry, if year over year over year over year over year over a 50-year period of time, it has at least done 5%, then I'm sorry, I can at least use 5% on appreciation. Is it guaranteed? Yeah, they're printing money. It is guaranteed. Things are going to go up in value. I'm not, it is what it is. So we're going to use 5%. So 5% of 300,000 is going to give us what, $15,000? So we got $15,000 in appreciation. Now, when do you see this appreciation number?
When do you see this appreciation number?
We're going to put $15,000 that this house is making us a year. When do you see that $15,000? Okay, so the only time you're going to see this $15,000 is if you sell it.
Cash out refi.
Cash out refi. Those are the two times you're going to see it. You can do that 5 years. In 5 years, if you said 15, then next year you get the 15 plus 5% of the 15. Then, which will be another $750. And then next year you get the 15 plus the $1,500 extra dollars. And that compounds every year. So over a 5-year period of time, you're going to have, probably close to $100,000 in appreciation, 75 to 100. And you could do a cash out refi, pull all that money back out, and as long as your numbers support it, you can do that. Take that money and use that money, and that's okay. But that is the only way you can do it. A cash out refi or selling the house, you're going to make that money. But either way, that house makes you $15,000 a year that you can take to the bank. It's going to be there, and you just gotta.
It's almost like a savings.
You gotta. This is building wealth. It's not building you income. It's building you wealth. So in the end, that keeps appreciating and keeps accumulating, and you get more money. That is how you build wealth. That's why your real estate investors, they may not be dollar rich, but from a wealth standpoint, they sold everything they got. They stand on the street naked. They got a ton of money. But what?
Stand on the street naked.
Well, they were in the street naked with a suitcase full of money. They sold their clothes. They sold everything they got. All they got is the money.
So when we sell everything we have, I want you to stand on the street naked with a briefcase.
We're not going to do that, though.
Okay. Well,
we're investors.
Safe. Okay, you're safe. I'm just saying.
But okay. I'll do that for you if you need to.
Next. He digresses.
Depreciation. What is depreciation? So everybody talks about the rich don't pay taxes. No, the rich pay a hell of a lot of taxes, because most people who are rich do not have a clue on how to not pay taxes. So the rich pay more taxes. The top 5% in this country pay more taxes than the bottom 50% in this country. The rich pay a hell of a lot of taxes. Now, if you're smart and you're rich, you ain't paying a penny of taxes. So here's how you don't pay a penny of taxes. So the government wants you to invest in real estate. Why? Because they need housing. How much housing are we short in our country right
A
now?
lot.
3.8 million at minimum.
3.8,
So there's
is that what it
reports
is?
that come out that say that we are somewhere between 3.8 million short in housing in our country right now and 6 million houses short in our country. Whatever that number is, it really doesn't matter.
3.8 million
Short, at least.
in housing.
Yeah. So if we're that tells us if they would need to, in order to get our country where it needs to be in the housing market, we need to build $3.8 million or 3.8 million
Houses.
more houses than we got right now. That's not happening. Right now, interest rates are high. Everything's high. A lot of builders aren't building because they can't make the returns on their money, and they're just not building. So we went through from 2006, 2007 to 2010. Nobody was building houses, basically almost at all. There was virtually no houses. And we need to build a few $100,000, $250,000, $300,000 a year in houses. 300,000 houses or 200,050 houses. That's what we need
Yearly, yeah.
just to keep up.
And then COVID hit, and COVID.
So we missed all those years. Then they went like crazy starting 2013 to 2019. Well, then 2020 hit. All construction stopped in 2020. It's starting to pick up a little bit right now, but it is not picking up like it was because the interest rates are high and people can't go out and get construction loans.
Slow out the shoot too because of the supply chain issues that they're having.
So it's
all compounded.
the problem keeps getting worse. It's not getting better. So it's very secure. So the government wants you to buy housing to rent to other people. So in that turn, what they do is they give you depreciation. So what is the depreciation? They take the total cost of the house. So we're going to take this property. This property was $300,000. We have to remove the land cost because the land is not depreciable. They do not allow you to depreciate the land. So we're going to take out of that $50,000 for land cost, and we're going to say that the total value of the house itself is $250,000. So at $250,000 worth of the house, they let you depreciate that off over 27 and a half years. 27 and a half years, if you divide that out, that comes to 3.6% of the value of the home that you can depreciate every single year. So we take the 250,000, we multiply that times 3.6%, and that's going to give us $9,000 a year. So we can depreciate $9,000 a year off of our taxes. So you do your taxes, let's say you get a W-2 income and you made $50,000. At $50,000, let's say you do your taxes, it all rounds out, you're in a 24% tax bracket. So we're going to figure at a 24% tax bracket. So we would take 24%, put 24% tax bracket. With a 24% tax bracket, that's going to give us $2,160.
How much?
$2,160. So with the $2,160, if you paid in $10,000 worth of taxes, then you're going to get this whole $2,160 back as a return. So they're going to give you all that money back. Okay? So Christine and I, we don't pay any taxes, and we don't pay any taxes because we have enough real estate that the depreciation of our real estate wipes out every penny that we ever make. So we never pay taxes not because we're cheating the government, but because the government incentivizes us to invest in real estate by giving us depreciation, and the depreciation allows us to be able to not pay taxes. So the depreciation is recognized every single year. This is recognized every single year. This is only recognized when you sell the house or you do a cash out refi. So now, as we did our note, and we came up with our note of, how much was our note?
Our note, I'm going to have to go back and look.
It was $1,500 something a month.
No. You're thinking bacon.
Oh, $1,800. Yeah, it was $1,814 on rents. So the note was $15 something a month. The yearly note. Didn't we have that over? Didn't we have another slide? Yeah.
Go this way.
Did we have a note?
Yeah, monthly, yearly.
Okay, we did the note wrong. We changed the yearly, we didn't change the note. So the note was $1,500 and something a month. So we had a total, if we do our calculations and we look at the principal reduction that we get on that. So every year when you pay your taxes, or every year when you pay your note, at the end of that year, there's a certain amount of money that was applied to your interest and a certain amount of money that was applied to your principal when you was doing your payments every month. So we had a principal reduction on that note of $2,437. So the question on that $2,437, is that something that we recognize every year? We owe $2,400 less this year than we owed last year. We appreciated the $15,000, but we don't see that money. We only see that money if we pay it. You see that money if you do a cash out refi. You recognize that money if you sell the property. So these two figures right here are figures that you see when you do a cash out refi or when you sell the property, but you do not see those whenever you come in.
I can't spell.
You don't see those unless you do a cash out refi or a sale of the property. So the note was actually, I got it wrote right there, $1,500 and, man, I need to write bigger. $1,596 monthly note, $19,160 on a note. So we didn't change the thing.
So you're saying the numbers are wrong?
No, we're good. The numbers are right.
Okay.
So altogether, the throw-off number is $12,782. So at $12,782, this is telling us what we're going to make off of that house as a whole. Take your phone and, I don't have my phone with me. Take your phone and divide 12,782 by 60,000. So we invested $60,000. That's our pocket money. So let's see, as a whole, we're making 20%
divided by
300,000.
300,000. Hold on, I think I did that wrong. Okay, it's 4%. 12,782 divided by 300,000. I thought you said to divide it by 60,000 for the down payment.
Oh, I'm sorry, 60,000.
Duh. Like,
sorry. We're doing it by what we got invested in the deal.
Okay, so that's that was 21%.
So if we take the 12,782 and we divide that by 60,000, we're coming up with 21%. So our total percentage that this property is throwing off is 21%. I would never invest in a deal that my throw-off number is 21%. I would invest in a deal that my throw-off is, well, I wouldn't because I can do better. But I do think that whenever you get above that 33, 35% on your throw-off number, that puts you in a good position. I mean, if you got a 33% throw-off number, that's telling me you're doubling your investment. So if you invested $60,000 and you're throwing off on that deal 33%, you're doubling your money every 3 years. So if you're doubling your money every 3 years, where else can you do that? And let's say you buy it, you don't take any money out of it, you just let the house do what it does for 3 years and you sell it, you've doubled your money in 3 years. In 6 years, it's going to be even more because your appreciation compounds, because your principal reduction goes up, because year over year, you're going to get a rent increase for the most part. There's so many factors. It starts off at 21%. That 20% doesn't stay there, it grows. If you start off at 33%, 35%, it doesn't stay there, it grows. So looking at this deal at face value, this is not something that me, as an investor, I would not invest in that. Especially right now with us running rampant within our country, I'm evaluating everything. I want cash flow if I'm going to buy something right now. I don't want to buy something with a negative cash flow because that means I got to come out of my pocket. What if something happens with, I don't have a job, but if you got a job, what happens with your job? You lose, you have a potential of losing everything you have because this isn't going to pay its own way and you got to put more money in it. When it comes to feeding your family, when it comes to paying your personal house note, what are you going to do? You're going to lose this rental property and let them foreclose on that, or you're going to let them foreclose on your personal property? You're going to lose the rental property. Are you going to let your family go hungry, or are you going to lose this rental property? You're going to lose this rental property. Right now, cash is king.
Cash is king.
Right now, cash flow is king. If you're going to be an investor, I would invest in something that has a positive cash flow. Maybe you're making $400,000 a year. Okay, if you're making $400,000 a year, I would do the deal. That wouldn't be a big deal for me. But I really think that you can do better than this 21%. So I probably would just look at that. This is giving you a brief. I guess it ain't too brief. We've been here a little while. This is how we dissect a deal. It doesn't take that long. We've done a lot of talking. You can do everything we did right here in 10 minutes. It's not that difficult. So I do appreciate y'all watching the video, and we're going to do a short video on this, but we're going to also go and look at this piece of property, and we're going to video it while we're looking at the property and give you a thing. So we're going to switch from here. We're going to go to Nick. Nick's got a live feed that he's doing. Do we have any questions? Do we have anybody asking anything that they want to know that we can help anybody on?